your Halloween. What is that? That's like spooky Halloween
I love
stuff.
how it's like just orange lettering to you is Halloween.
It's like spooky waves, no?
Sure.
Hi, Candle Coven.
Is it
If you
not?
can't tell, we have a guest on today. It's our very good friend, Megan. We're so excited. We have a really fun info dump for you today. And Megan is a Scorpio, so anything that looks remotely Halloween, this is like why I wore this shirt. It was just like for my Halloween girl.
Oh,
So
it's so good.
Megan is a tried and true New Yorker from Manhattan, bitch. So her info dump is going to be all about the city, Manhattan, all of that. But first, I'm going to read you guys her little information, her little bio, which I love. Okay, Megan O'Neill is a born and bred New Yorker and a beauty editor at Goop, where she writes about clean beauty, clean living, and the idea of what it means to truly feel and be beautiful. She loves the debilitating heat of summer in the city, walking in Tivas, baking, her family, excessive showering, swishy dresses, and the 90s. Ladies and gentlemen, our good friend, Megan O'Neill.
Hi, guys.
Megan,
that intro.
I love
that intro is exactly right.
I love the bio because it's like it's talking about the sweltering heat and then the excessive showering, which is like kind of a hand in hand thing, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it's like boring to talk about like your job for a bio. Like it doesn't like get at like who you
Right.
are, but you have to like
Yeah.
people have to like place you in the world, so you have to like mention your job.
Oh yeah,
but
to
it's,
know
like,
you.
showering.
Yeah, you famously love the heat. Like it's like
I
it's your
do.
thing.
Yeah.
Like you'll be
Are you guys like not loving this?
No, Megan.
Oh no.
No.
Oh
No, I
God,
know.
no.
You haven't like
Never
acclimated.
have.
I've never
You don't think it's like sexy at all?
No.
No.
Really?
Never, not once.
My thighs touch
You'll
too
like-
much.
I don't like slutty clothes enough.
Yeah, that's the issue.
That's a big
key.
issue.
Yeah, if you're like clothed, it's not fun.
No, you got it.
So like, what's your ideal hot girl summer outfit?
Tivas, so I can like walk everywhere.
So do you have to break them in, or do they give you blisters right away?
No, they're so amazing. They don't even need to be broken in. Tivas don't need to be broken
I've
in.
gotten
Like, they're
blisters from
not. Maybe
Tivas.
they should.
See, but like
No, you
yes,
haven't.
because Megan, I'm soaking wet. Like my feet are sweaty, my
yeah.
hands are sweaty. So when you have like sweaty feet and you're walking in Tivas, it like rips your feet up.
Really?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
You wear the Hurricanes, like the with the big
yes,
sole.
I have a pair of Hurricanes. Gave me blisters across the toe.
I think she got the same ones
I
as
have
you,
the
the
same
white
ones. Yeah,
Are you guys just sweatier
I'm
than
just
me?
like
Maybe
No, Jocelyn
genetically
has a
messed up.
soaking wet hand and foot.
Jocelyn has what?
She has soaking wet hands and feet.
Oh, are you one of those
Yeah,
people?
I'm like sweaty
Like
as hell.
clammy
Yeah, I'm a
hands?
clammy girl. And like they're not even like hot; they're like cold and wet.
But they
Yeah.
don't feel cold. Like you're hot.
No, they feel physically cold to other people, but I'm sweating.
I know people like
Yeah.
that.
It's really
me.
hot, actually.
It's
I know someone who takes
Yeah.
medicine for it. I'm not saying you should. But
Is it-
For
like,
which
'cause
part of it?
like
The
Raynaud's
sweat or
syndrome?
the wetness?
Oh.
Because they have a corporate job and they were afraid that people would be like shun them for having a nasty handshake.
Wow. And they're right.
Yeah, I bet I have.
Are
Every
they?
time I go to meet people, I'm like, wipe.
Have you ever shaken a clammy hand?
It's disgusting.
That's like so clammy where you have to like
Yeah.
wipe it on your
Yeah,
shirt.
it's nasty.
No, it's disgusting. You're like, why?
Yeah.
What were you touching? Like your genitals? That's true. But good thing you guys are CEOs of your own companies. You don't have to worry.
Yeah.
about
Yeah, we don't shake any
Just
hands.
shake our own hands. She's used to holding
It's
my
part of
wet
our
hand.
Yeah, your
full
boss.
blisters.
Right? Well, I'm glad that you are enjoying this heat, Megan, because I think that Manhattan is like one of the most oppressive heats because the buildings like bake you. But
Concrete jungle where dreams are made
but
of.
you're like, you're born in you're a real tried and true born and bred New Yorker. I think it's a good thing that you are acclimated to the heat that is specific to Manhattan because it is unlike anything else. Like people that don't understand like that New York City, yes, it's in the Northeast, but the heat that emanates from Manhattan in the summer, it is like unlike anything else. Like when I first moved to the city, I used to call the subway the devil's asshole because it was like the only thing I could think.
Yeah. It's like the butt crack.
Yeah,
But you love it, Megan.
You love it.
No, I do, but the New York summer is like its own thing. Like you have to know. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not just
Yeah.
hot. It's not like LA hot or like Arizona hot. It's like wet and like nasty and like
Yeah.
airless.
So aside from the Tivas, what is like the ideal walking around the city summer hot girl outfit? What's the uniform?
Okay, my summer uniform is the Tivas and then a skirt that's like like not high-waisted in like a fashiony sense, but like high-waisted in like a comfortable sense that you can wear like a tiny like bikini top on top
Okay.
and like
Yeah, okay.
feel like sort of carefree. I mean, I love showing like my whole midriff and stomach, but
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I love when it comes like grazes right above the belly button. That's like my ideal.
And so, like, for people who can't see you, you are pregnant right now. So,
Yeah.
how does that change? I can't imagine being pregnant in the city in the
Yeah,
heat.
well, yeah, it does change it. Okay, but wait, just and then the top is like a halter top or a bikini
Okay.
top. But
Uh-huh.
pregnant, it's just like I want to be Rihanna and like just like have my
Mm.
belly like pouring out because oh my God, so cool to be pregnant and so proud of my body.
Right.
But
Uh-huh.
it just like doesn't and I'm like disappointed in this. It's like when I tried to grow my armpit hair and like didn't
Uh-huh.
feel attractive with it. Like I
Uh-huh.
want to walk around with my belly out, but I like it just like the silhouette like messes me up for some reason.
Interesting. I think it's really
Interesting.
interesting, Megan, that you brought up the armpit hair thing too, because that's actually something I recently like went through. I made the decision
Really?
in like I want to say like 2021 to like grow out all my body hair because I was like, what is it? The internalized patriarchy, the internal
Yeah,
like the beauty
totally.
standards that have been put upon me, and what is it like to like fight through them? And so like last summer was kind of the first summer that I had like hairy legs and hairy armpit, and like caught myself like trying to shave my legs or waxing because I was like truly not there. But then now, and I
Yeah.
was like, maybe
And
I'm
is
not
it
there. But this year, I'm there.
You're there?
Yes.
and
Okay.
it's so much of like the perception of it versus like how you actually feel of it about it
I
too,
know. How do
right?
you separate the two, right? Like I don't think I can separate the two.
Right. Yeah. It's
Are you talking Yeah, I mean,
like the beauty
Because we're
standards.
all
I
drinking the Kool-Aid,
Right.
we're
well,
all like in this
yeah.
world. Like
Like, I literally like, when I first stopped shaving my legs, I literally would almost, like, point it out to people before they could say anything about it themselves.
because you're like
Like, "I'm
embarrassed
sorry about my
that way.
hairy
I
legs,"
still
and it's
do
like,
that.
Right.
why am I even saying anything?
I'm
Like,
still there. I
what?
still kind of do that. I will be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's just my hairy ass legs. Just, it's my protest. And
Right.
even though I don't need to say it, but like it's almost like
No.
I
You
know
like
my
have
legs are hairy. It's on purpose. But I think
Yeah.
people could probably tell that everything that I'm wearing and doing is on purpose. So I don't really need to explain it. But it's true. It's really hard to like shed off those, beauty ideals
yeah.
that are kind of put upon us, especially like I think New York
That hold
City.
us back.
Well, especially too, like in New York City, like we're not driving around in our cars. So when we like leave our house, like that's our
Yeah.
armor for the day, right? Like that's
Yeah, you're on
all
Yeah.
you're
display
on
today.
display. And I
Yeah.
think that's something if you can only really understand if you live in like a walking city kind of like that, where like when you go out, like it's so much more than just an outfit. It's like, am I going to
Yeah.
be
Right.
comfortable? Can I
It's your
safely get
purse.
there?
It's your
Right. Like
identity.
it's right.
Yeah.
Am I
It's like,
showcasing
do I have my
myself?
headphones? Do I have my phone? Like, do I have all the shit that I need to carry around with me all
Right.
day?
Yeah, totally. And actually, I know we're not talking about Sex and the
No,
City
we
because
can.
someone talked about it
It
last
goes
week.
right into
But
Yeah,
it.
I
okay,
mean, you could talk
You can
about it,
talk
yeah.
about Sex in the
okay,
City.
I'll just touch on something because I feel like they have these like diluted storylines to make things really easily
Mhm.
understandable for
Uh-huh.
people,
Yeah.
which I don't have a problem with. But there's a part about Lisa Todd Wexley, that
Uh-huh.
woman,
Yeah.
the gorgeous
Yeah.
Yes.
black woman. There's this little storyline about her husband's mother, who's like this old black
Right.
Southern lady, comes to visit,
Mhm.
and the mother is talking about the importance of self-presentation when you're black.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like this whole long historical. It has a big history,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Like
do you
it
wanna,
goes
like, talk
back
about it? Yes, go
goes
into it if
back
you
to I
want
don't
to.
know if you go
Yeah.
deep, but it goes back to like slavery when you couldn't
Right.
control what you looked like, and so all black people had as free people was like an image
Right.
in some
Right.
sense.
And
So so
it goes so deep too, because like it was being used as like communication, even like braids and stuff like that. Like
and
Yes.
it still
so
is,
many of
right?
those things, and like even tying back to like original culture of like Africa, whatever you can hold on to type of thing. I don't know.
Totally, it's
Yeah.
still so important. Like how you
Yeah.
look, like it does matter. Like it
Absolutely.
matters
Right.
whoever you are. It matters especially if you're a woman, obviously, and it
Yeah.
matters especially if you're a minority.
Absolutely,
So
because one of like the main things about being a human being in this world is our creation, our creativity, like the ability to manifest something. And that's like
To see something
in
in
your
your
head
head and
and
bring
make
it
it
to life. Yeah.
exactly. And so when you're able to kind of be like, this is who I am, this is my self expression, this is what I'm saying about myself, of course it's important. I think when people like poo
Mhm.
poo like clothes and fashion as not being so important, and like the arts in general, like it is so incorrect, because like one of the
Mhm.
things about being a person here is create our creativity. It's like we literally can make
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
something up in our head, and then can become a reality, and that's like the
Yeah.
magic of being a person. So when that is stolen
no,
from
yeah,
people, it's so fucked up
it's
and
it's
Yeah.
so
tragic.
important
Yeah,
It's
now.
taking their humanity.
Exactly.
yeah, it
It
is.
is.
I mean,
So
I like it's so important how you look. It for me, it translates directly how I feel, how I perform, how I
right.
be myself for the day. You know,
1000%.
Yeah, and like to me it's about authenticity versus like any confirmation to any kind of beauty standard. Like if I think presenting yourself as authentically as possible is like my ideal. Like
yeah,
I don't think people should feel the need to subscribe to like, you know,
Anything.
cultural standards or
Yes.
whatever standards. I think they should just live how they want to happily and
Agreed.
but that's
freely.
so
And if
hard
that
to
means
do,
but if
right?
that
It's
means
so hard.
conforming too, that's like fine. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
If it means conforming, that's fine. It's
Exactly.
about the
yeah.
choice,
Yeah, I think
mostly.
it's like ultimately deciding that you have the choice, or like realizing that you have the choice, and then it's like, you know what? I like to shave my armpits. I like the feeling of like the silky
Yeah.
legs. Like I get that. But then sometimes you don't want to, and I think both things are valid, and there's space for both things to be beautiful. And
Definitely.
I think it's like it's a journey. Like we look at like our personal images that we've like set forth in our whole lives. I mean, even since the three of us have known each other, how many different looks have we all gone through, and different like phases
Right?
and all of that shit. Like it's
Seriously.
self-discovery, and we're showing each other like our journey in a way. And it's, you can like look back at pictures and be like, remember when I was into this and da da
Oh
da.
my
Like
god.
it really is so important. And I really do think as New Yorkers, that it really comes across because you're so exposed to the public,
Right.
basically.
Right.
Everyone's
Totally.
Yeah.
having their
And
own
I
moment,
like,
their own Carrie moment with a belt
Yeah.
around their waist. And
Yeah, everyone in New York City is their own main character, isn't it?
but like yeah, I still like I think every day, this is like maybe so lame, but I like think about Carrie Bradshaw most days.
I know
Like, you know,
you
when I'm getting dressed, you guys, to take my 2-year-old to daycare in Bushwick, it's not like a catwalk. Like it's like
it is if you
No,
want
but
it
like
to
still,
it
be.
is. That's the thing.
It
but
is.
like I'm like I have to look like I have to look like
You
me,
have to look
and
like
I
you.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I make an
Every second that we're alive is a second that a chance to serve. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yes.
why not? It doesn't make life like more enjoyable when you
And
like
like
look at it.
yes, I serve for myself
Oh
all the
yeah,
time.
Alaina and I
Me
serve for
too.
each
Yeah.
other, like 100%. There's some days where some of the
Yeah.
best outfits I've ever worn, the only person that's seen it is Alaina and Molly, and that's
Are you mad? Or do you feel like it's a
no. I feel
waste?
like it's
Like
good for
kind
it's
of?
good. My
Yeah.
higher self knows, and that's just good. The collective consciousness just knows, like I was serving on this day.
Yeah,
It's
and it's like captive. And it's like a new go-to outfit for when you have to like be on
Right,
TV.
right.
exactly. I know having those outfits sort of like pre-planned in your mind is such a good, like when you don't know what to wear, isn't that, oh my god.
You need your like
You
staples.
do.
And actually that reminds me, this is because I always thought this, like I didn't understand it at the time, but I like, worked in magazines, in fashion magazines before I was at Goop. And like a couple years ago when I was at Elle, my mom, who is not a rich person, like at all,
Mhm.
for Christmas got me this Celine
Oh, that
coat.
coat's amazing, Megan.
Oh
That's
my god,
like
yes.
it's like the prettiest coat ever. Like I'll be
It's a
buried in it,
lifetime coat. It's a lifetime coat.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
lifetime coat. It was a fortune, like a
Right.
fortune. Like
Yeah.
we saw it in the store, and like I tried it on, and it was like, oh, I would never even like want this coat. It was like too
Right.
expensive, and
Uh-huh.
she got it for me, which was like a
She's
huge
so
string.
cute.
That's so sweet.
It was so sweet, and I was like, why would you do this? Like I was mad. I was like, this is just dumb.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you like, pay rent still,
Yeah.
like you're working. And
She
she was
loves to
like,
splurge on like a piece of luxury
Yeah.
clothing.
well, so I like didn't understand. This was years ago, and she was like, you have to look good. Like it's so
Uh-huh.
important to look good,
Mm.
and
That's true. Your
it like
mom
reminds.
always Your mom is like she serves all the time. Like
She
we would
does.
always run into her on the Upper West Side, as you
She's
know,
big on,
and
like, being
like,
presentable,
Yeah.
you know?
but she always looks
Do
great.
you think that
She's not,
that
like,
goes back
fancy.
to what you were talking
No, she's
about
yeah,
in Just Like That?
That's what I was bringing it
yeah,
back to, and I didn't understand why this woman who does not have all this money would spend all that on a coat,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah,
And I have to say, like, this some editor in chief, like, came up to me, like, a few days later where when I was wearing the coat, and, like, we had a conversation. She was like, "I love your coat. It's the Celine,
Right.
right?" And it didn't matter that it's Celine. It just mattered that it was this, like, beautifully
it
Right.
cut
was yeah,
You were
that, like,
connecting
makes you
over
want
the
to wear
culture
that.
of this coat. And
Yeah, and a
craftsmanship.
fit, and a beautiful fit, and, like, a moment of fashion,
yes.
and,
Yeah,
There is something about the older generations too. Like my grandmother would always be like, "Oh, well, if you want to get like lifetime pieces where it's like that's a beautiful coat that you'll have for years. Those are beautiful boots or a purse." Like we did not grow up with money, but like she would be the person who would always be like, "Oh, we'll get that expensive coat," or like, "Oh, we'll get that thing,"
yeah.
because she would rather get one nice thing than buy a bunch of trash. Like that was like sort
Oh,
of, and I feel
totally.
like we've with fast fashion we have kind of like lost that a little bit, and also things are so inaccessible price wise. But like the ability to like
Uh-huh.
buy these like goods that are like staples that you'll have forever, like it doesn't exist really because we're such a consumer focused like it's just like what's next,
I
what's
know.
Yeah.
so
Like quality has gone down.
so when you
Like
Yeah.
just
yeah
like materials are just like
so
shittier.
when you find something like that coat that just like harkens back to like yesteryear of like craftsmanship and all this stuff and like you get to have it's so
Quality.
much there, it
Mhm.
means a lot. Like I totally get that.
Yeah, and then it
So
does
how
make you feel different when you put it
It
on, you know?
does.
right, do you still like it?
Oh my god, I mean, I love it. It's, like,
Yeah.
so beautiful,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I wanted to like can we go back to actually the um I always want to call it and so it is, but it's
And
just
just
like
like
that.
that.
And just like that. And just like
Oh, yeah,
that moment. Okay, so like it was like the scene where the husband is like yelling at the taxi, right? And the mom comes out and she's
yeah,
like whatever. Yeah,
Don't be
like the
like that.
point of it
Right.
is that we have to be conscious about
how we look, how we
how we
present.
behave and
Yeah,
present, right? And like my initial thought to that was like that's is very dated to me.
Right.
Like that to me is like a generational thing. And is that right? Like would you say like I feel like younger people, millennials, Gen Z are trying to buck that uh
no, I don't think it's dated because I think people are still Black people specifically are still very judged by,
that's
you
not
know,
I
even
mean
the
I
interaction.
agree. I agree.
Totally.
That's not what I mean. I mean dated in that not on one side, dated from the perspective of
The younger people.
the
Oh, yeah,
younger
I do
people,
think
as
the
in
younger
like
people
what
are
we
kind of
can do
bucking
whatever
that.
the fuck we want and people need to
Yeah,
adjust to us.
definitely younger people are
Yeah.
thinking that way, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. But the problem, the friction is that other generations are still around to make the
Well, isn't
laws,
that the truth?
You
you
know
know?
what? It's so
But
interesting that we get to see and just like that. And we talked about this on our most recent podcast where we talked about Sex and the City and just like that, how it's sort of like Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret for boomers.
oh, the
In a
best
way
one.
where it's like it's sort of like showcasing like, oh, men of a certain age sometimes when they ejaculate nothing comes out. I didn't know about that. We need to take care of our pelvic health. Or like, oh,
Good to know.
this black family, look at these tropes that are happening between the older generations and the new generations. Like, this is what's happening. Oh, Charlotte's has a trans child. Like, okay, so we're getting like all these different things. And I think that the reason why it works so well within Just Like That and Sex in the City is because of the city, which is the main character really of these shows, because it is a place
Uh-huh.
where all of these different tropes, like that you could say kind of encompass the world, are shown in like a microcosm of these like 5, 6 bitches that
Mhm.
they throw together.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
get to kind of like make a little bit of a caricature out of it, but at the end of the heart of it all is that it's like this is the human experience in a microcosm, which is like what New York is. New York City is like a
Mhm.
little bit of everything in one place piled on top of each other. And I think that's why it's
Mhm.
such a beautiful, amazing, fantastic city, because like the heart and soul and energy of you can never break it. And like, yes, Alaina and I moved away from the city after being there for, 2 decades almost. But we will love it forever. It will always be,
Yeah.
it's like the way that it gets under your skin. Like I couldn't even get that far, Megan. I'm on the Metro North. Like I have to be like touching it. I have to have like a foot
Yeah.
touching it still.
No, it's a
Yeah.
mentality.
Have you
Yeah.
ever
You
thought
can
about
like,
leaving since I mean, you're from there. So like, have you ever thought of moving away?
no, no,
Not even to
honestly,
LA.
no. LA? No.
Such a New
I
York
mean, LA is
response.
fun to visit, but like, no, LA is crazy. Like everything's closed at 6. Like no one's walking anywhere.
6. What is
Yeah,
this,
like
Spain?
it's crazy. Like you walk on the street at 6 and it's deserted.
Right.
Like I try to like
That's
walk
wild.
like on a highway, like it's
That's
crazy.
I know,
wild.
finding that
LA,
places are closed when you're in other parts of the world and in other parts of this country, you're like, what's the joke about the bodega? It's like, where else can you get a carton of milk and a sandwich at 2 in the morning? The best sandwich you've ever
Right.
had.
Yeah.
I
And
would
like a
feel stranded
screwdriver.
if I couldn't get like a kombucha at 2
Right.
a.m.
Right.
It's like the
So like I
freedom.
would go to like Rome or Paris, but I don't want to go there either. It's like New York or nothing for me, honestly.
I love that.
Where am I going to go? It's like a curse.
When you went to college,
No, it is.
when you went to college,
It
I
is.
mean, it's kind of true. Like once you've lived in Manhattan, you're sort of like,
You're ruined.
where do I go?
Wait, Jocelyn, before you move forward, can we just like give a little context about like what's going on here?
Please.
So we're talking about New York City, right? We're talking
Yeah,
so Megan is our friend. She's my friend since like 2007, I want to say, 2006.
Since we were what, like 20?
Like yeah.
Babies.
So we've been really good friends since then. And New York Megan was born and raised in New York City, and I just wanted to like give that context.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if we like even said that.
No, I said it in her bio. She's born and
Oh,
she's
okay.
born
but,
and
but is
bred.
the info dump? The info dump
Yes,
is about
is
growing
about
up and living in New York
being,
City.
and one of the things I remember Megan saying one time,
Excuse me.
What's that?
it was a light, is
It,
I remember
it
you
turned
saying
off.
something, Megan. It was like, if anybody ever tries to come for me, I'm literally just like, I'm from Manhattan. And I
Oh
literally,
my
Right.
God.
it's such a way to like, I don't know, like, not that there's anything wrong with being from anywhere else, but it's literally just like,
No.
it's a tough place. It's tough, like literally going to get
Yeah.
the groceries is, you never know what's going to happen. Like it's a schlep, it's a this, it's a that.
It's a schlep.
Everything is
A
hard.
schlep.
Everything is earned. Everything
built
is
different.
hard. So like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I forget the
Well,
point I was making, but yeah.
You know what? It's the source of my confidence, weirdly, or it's a big source of my confidence being from here for whatever reason. Like I'm just,
Yeah.
like, I feel like when I was younger and maybe I was in some like daunting work situation with like snobby people, in my head I'd be like, well, I'm from Manhattan. Like, where are you?
I know.
You
Right.
know?
No,
Like,
you were going to like Marquee when you were 15. Like, yeah, you can deal with it.
I can deal with it. Yeah. It does make you just like, I don't know, it gives you a certain perspective, right? To see like every kind of person and to
Totally.
walk in the subway and to know that there is
Oh yeah.
danger if you're not like
I mean, you
careful.
have autonomy at such a young age. Like you're really given the chance to come into your own earlier than other people, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
And you're
just
exposed to so much stuff that you can take on different. You learn so much all the time.
yeah, you do. You do learn so much all the time. And I feel like, a lot of people say this and I think it's true, but I think you go to college and you don't necessarily go off the rails like one might with like the
Right.
freedom and access to booze
Right.
and drugs because you've kind of
So,
like
yeah.
been on
That's what I was gonna say. The one
You were gonna
time
ask
you
yeah.
moved away from the city was for college at Amherst. Shout out to Massachusetts. What was that like for you? Those 4 years away from your beloved city. Like, how'd you
I mean,
feel?
I had a great time. I found my crew ultimately. Had a great time. But that said, like there was never any doubt that I would just like make a beeline for back home when I was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm not. I love nature, but like I'm not. It's woodsy up there, and not just woodsy,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
it's not a city.
Yeah.
So it was like I was like the weird girl who was like wearing a tube sock with like my jean leg rolled up, like I definitely stood out, not just because I was black and most people weren't,
Right.
but because like of the way I dressed and,
Yeah.
the expression
Right.
way I dressed.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite
Yeah,
things
we're cut different.
I was gonna say one of my favorite things about you is like again like your sense of style, which is so very your own, but also you have the best recommendations for things, and that is like
Mhm.
the New York City cool girl, like prep
Hot girl
school
too.
girl,
Yeah.
hot school girl. Because let's just say it, like the prep school situation in Manhattan is like a whole world, right? And like I
Yeah.
only came into learning about it by working with girls in retail that went to like some of those schools, and they would be so funny to be like, "Oh, that's a Spence girl. Oh, that's a Horace Mann girl," and I'd be like, "What does this mean?" And it's like a whole world. But all those girls have the best recommendations for everything. They're like, if you're not getting
Yeah.
the salad, the tomato salad at Sardi's, whatever it might be, like you're
my God,
crazy,
Sardi's.
like whatever it is, like, oh, I have to go get this black and white cookie from this one specific place. Like, you guys know everything.
Yeah.
You guys are like the original influencer, the original tastemaker.
Yeah.
And everything that you ever
Oh,
recommend
I
to
love
us,
that idea.
I'm always eating, trying.
And your mom too.
Oh yeah, your mom is an original
My mom knows
influencer.
Yeah.
yeah. She knows what's up about crackers. Alaina, she's obsessed with this cracker brand that she orders from
Oh,
Switzerland.
God bless.
No fucking way.
Yeah. She used to get it when we were kids, but they don't sell it in the US anymore. It's this Swiss
Oh
brand
my-
called
what's
Darvita.
it-
Darvita.
What's it-
Okay.
What's the
And she
situation?
accidentally-
She was
You
my
got
least
it?
favorite on Selling Sunset.
Stop.
Well, who was?
Darvita.
Stop yourself.
Oh, you mean what's her
Davina.
name? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she's like the worst. She's no one's favorite. But Alaina, specifically, my mom, she ordered 30 boxes by accident.
Oh,
that's it.
okay.
That's it.
She ordered 30 boxes.
Yep, and she was over at my house like yesterday, and she was like, "Can you ask Alaina if she wants
Yes.
some of these
Yes.
boxes? Because I know she
Yep.
likes crackers."
Absolutely, I will take.
Okay.
Anything that
We eat
Carol
them with
says, I say yes.
Buy them from her. I'll give her cash.
Wait,
No,
can we
we'll ship them
can
to
we
you.
talk about the
I'll pay her in beautiful children's shoes that she loves or
Okay.
clothing.
Fine.
Wait, can we talk
Yeah.
about the first time I saw Megan's mom? It's like a story from my perspective.
Was it in Whole Foods?
So
Yeah.
we had
Yes, it
we were
was.
driving, for some reason we had the car. We had like your parents' car.
We were moving some
Yeah,
shit.
we were
from
moving some shit.
Point A to point B.
And
I remember
Megan, I
this.
had never met your mom. I think we were like moving Alaina into my apartment. Like that's how early on this was.
Ages
Yes.
ago.
And I
Yeah.
had never met your mom. I didn't know anything about her. But Alaina like pulled over and we were parked and I was sitting in the car while she ran in to get something, and there was the Whole Foods right there on the Upper West Side, and this woman walked out and I went, "That's Megan's mom." And so in just my head, I was like, "That's Megan's mom."
just knew.
I just was like,
You knew.
I was just like, I knew it was your mom, and like it could have been anybody, but I just knew it was your mom. And so Alaina gets in the car and she goes, "I just saw Megan's mom in there," and I was like, "I knew it!" And like I
So crazy.
recognized her in a sea of Manhattanites. Like
Yeah.
she's just
it's such
so
a vibe.
iconic.
She's such a vibe.
I remember that story. And she was like, I don't think she knew who you were then, but
No.
later she was like, "That's Jocelyn, so pretty."
Oh, I love
Remember
that
she said
woman with my whole heart.
Yeah.
So she's just got like the
You know what
best
she
taste.
also does? That is like so. This is gonna be like a podcast about your mom. We ran into her at like the Upper West Side flea market, which we
Did
always
you?
would do.
Yeah.
We ran into her all the time.
That 79th
Like, yeah,
so
Street
many
one.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she did something so miraculous. We were chatting with her for like 30 seconds, and then she literally was just like, "All right, then enjoy your day," and like walked away.
And I was like,
that was
Like she slipped away,
Yes.
but like it
yeah.
was like
She just like effectively exited the conversation after like a very normal amount of time. Like she didn't linger. She like actually dipped
Right.
out pretty fast, and I was like, "What
it was iconic.
an angel from heaven!"
And it
Yeah, it
taught me a
was.
lot.
That's the thing, though. She's like not trying to. She's like not social. Do you know what I mean?
No.
She's like friendly
Same.
and likes people, but she's like not trying to like.
She's
hang.
mastered
small
She's
talk.
mastered it though. It's good because she's just like, "Hello and have a wonderful afternoon," and then just like
Yeah, it
went
was like
away.
completely inoffensive. Yeah,
But it was perfect because I feel
was
like you
perfect.
Oh,
guys
I loved it.
don't want to talk.
no, I hate talking. You know.
Everyone's secretly antisocial here, even though you have a podcast.
Yeah, but where I talk to my wife.
in our apartment.
Classic introvert stuff. Huh?
Seriously. Are you an introvert at all, do you think?
Yes. Oh my god, I'm so what's the word? I'm so like drained by being around people too much.
Yeah.
You know, like I
But
love
no-
people, but like
It's a lot.
Do you feel like that about the city though? Like when you're sauntering around all day, encountering people everywhere on the subway, like do you come home and you're like drained, or are you like that
Never.
was fucking
No,
exhilarating?
the city you're anonymous.
You are
Like,
anonymous.
Right.
a small town where you're like, "Hi, Mr.
No, that's like legit
Welcome."
true, Megan, because when you live we live in a smaller place now, and like you
I don't want to talk. I don't want to say hi.
I
to
know,
you
yeah.
see people
Yes,
everywhere.
fine. Like leave me
Yeah.
alone. Yeah.
No, that's so
In the
true.
city, no one cares. You can like shit on the floor and no
And
one
they
And
do.
They do.
And they do. Yeah, and people should care. But yeah, no one cares. You can do whatever you want. No, I never feel drained by the city. I feel
Wait,
energized by
speaking
the
of
city.
people shitting on the floor, you've pounded some pavement in Manhattan. You've been in the subway in Manhattan. What's the freakiest thing you've ever seen?
Took the words out of my mouth.
The freakiest thing I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen like the cliche stuff, like literally, people like shitting on the floor,
Sure.
which is
Yeah.
It
unfortunate.
happens to the best of
But
us.
like it happens to
Yeah.
everyone. But the freakiest thing, probably one of those horses that draw the carriages
Don't.
collapsing.
Oh, that's
No.
awful.
Oh,
No, I
I
hate
hate
that.
that.
It's horrible. Horrible.
I think
Didn't you see someone like jerking off on the train once?
Yeah.
that's just a Wednesday.
That didn't even occur to you. Yeah.
But honestly, the horse was worse.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, that's
A man
that's awful.
jerking off on the train, like
That's every
come on.
day.
nothing.
That's just rush hour,
No
baby.
way. I hate
Right.
Wait, one time a
But
friend of
the horse was awful.
one time a friend of mine saw this woman completely naked from the waist down, kind of like Hell's Kitchen, but like closer to the highway, cleaning her between me down there's with a bottle of red wine.
No, come
And
on.
so that's one of the weirdest things I've heard.
That must be like one of the secrets of the universe.
I didn't see it myself, but
that's
the
weird.
person who saw it and they drew a picture. So I saw basically a picture of it.
I feel like she might be onto something.
Wait, where was she? In
Kind of like
Times
Hell's
Square?
Kitchen, further up and further west.
Yeah.
And just
Wait, I gotta tell Megan a story.
please.
Like one of the funniest things we ever seen.
Please.
So do you remember when Bijou was like a little bit earlier, we were like packing orders across the street at the storage facility. We were like sending out all of our orders from there.
I do, yeah.
So we would spend like all day there packing orders, and like there were a handful of characters that were also customers of this extra space.
They were
storage
regulars.
facility that we would like. Yeah, they were regulars that we would like encounter, and our little space was like right by the bathroom, so we like saw everybody.
Ugh.
There was this woman there. Bless her heart.
Bless her.
So like at the extra space stores they have like trolleys that you can like push your boxes around on.
Yeah.
She was pushing one of those, and on it was by itself a pair of poopy underpants.
No, it wasn't.
I swear to God.
I was there. It's true.
On this trolley. She was like pulling it to her storage space, and on it was by itself a pair of underpants with poop in it.
Wait, why?
I don't think she was well, but she was funny and she was nice. Yeah, she was like
in her
in
50s, maybe?
and she would just be like,
old. That's not old.
we would see her
No, she wasn't old.
quite a bit there, and she was always up to something like that. And she would literally just be
you
like,
guys.
"Hi, girls," and like kind of like go. But you know what she reminded me of is that meme of that person who is like, "I'm gonna eat
Babadook?
desserts and get all fat and sassy." Like she was like that kind of like a character. I can't describe
But you
her.
guys, like, where was she taking those undies? To a storage
To her
unit?
storage unit.
Ooh. People are weird.
Yeah, so she was a sort of like an enigma that we would just see, and she was always carrying like
Iconic.
one thing on a trolley to like. I hope she's
Yeah.
okay, honestly. But one time it was literally just a pair of underwear with
One
poop.
thing on her trolley.
I think it's like living her best life.
Yeah.
Remember that time?
People are weird.
Oh,
New York people.
oh
are
yeah,
weird.
Alaina.
I
Remember
love
that time
it.
you bought a coat from somebody out of a storage area?
Yeah, out of our storage unit. There was this guy, and he had
Wait,
this
this was in
sick.
Manhattan,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like right by our apartment.
Yeah.
This guy was he had this like 6 suede tassel jacket, and I tried it on. It fit me perfectly, and he sold it to me for like $50.
Really?
Yeah, his name was LT.
Do you still have it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's sick.
it's a great jacket.
Ugh.
I think I wore it to like Shoko's wedding.
I wish you guys. I mean, you don't want to live here still, but it'd be cool if you lived here still and we could like get a coffee.
Maybe we can like at some point get a pied a terre or something, and then we'll have like a little apartment that we can.
Would you do that?
Sure. I mean,
If we were like, rolling in the
yeah.
dough.
Let's see what happens.
Okay, if you were rolling in the dough, would you just get a sick house here, or would you want to still stay where?
I think I would have a couple of properties. I would have like
Yeah.
a Manhattan
Yeah.
apartment and like someplace fun, and I would be very generous with it all. So everybody can come
Yeah.
and chill and visit. I'm gonna have a pool apparently that we're all gonna go swimming in. See, that's like the one thing about the city is like a pool would be so nice. A pool would be so nice now for me here.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
someone who lives in the West Village in an old, like, gorgeous, obviously expensive townhouse, and she has a pool.
Is it indoor or
Is it
outdoor?
Sarah Jessica Parker?
I mean, yeah, it's like no, it's not her. No, it's outdoors. It's in the yard.
I've
Isn't that
like never
crazy?
even heard of that.
I know, it's so rare. She said it
That
was like
is
some
sick.
loophole with like the zoning, and she put it in like 20 years ago.
Oh, that's iconic. Like that would
I know,
I bet
never
her house is worth
happen,
like $100 million.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's so much. I don't need a pool, but I would like to have a Carol Gardens house. That would be my
Oh,
area.
Carol Gardens after
Mm.
Carol.
I feel like Carol
I love
Gardens
that.
is your drag name, Megan.
Like,
Oh,
yeah,
that's actually a really good
Right?
name.
Please welcome to the
Yeah.
stage,
that's great.
Carol Gardens.
I love
So how
that.
do you choose a drag name? You just choose
Whatever
anything?
you want. And I feel like since your mom's name is Carol, it like is such a good homage to her.
It
And it's an
fits.
homage to
Yeah,
Brooklyn and like being from the area.
the city.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was going to ask
Yeah.
you, what is it like now raising another generation of born and bred New Yorkers?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm like I feel like I have a good perspective of how to, like gently guide him so he's not like there's like crazy city kids, the ones who like got really fucked up and have grown up. Then there's ones who
Uh,
are like well
Right.
adjusted. And
yeah,
I feel
the
like
rare one.
Like you two.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe it's rare to be well adjusted, but
I'm
there
not well
there
adjusted.
definitely are
I
yeah,
think
you
you're
are.
well adjusted.
You're so well adjusted. I'm talking about the people who like went off the rails with like drugs and are like
Right,
don't
right.
can't hold jobs.
They had a
No,
hard
yeah.
time. Yeah, it's rough. It's hard.
Yeah, there's a lot of there is some of that.
Right.
But I feel like I've come up with this, I've hatched this plan, and like basically I feel like the way to create a well-adjusted child, raising them in the city, is dinner time. Is like having dinner time at your house.
Uh-huh.
So like having like that foundation, like dinner time is like you're sitting down with the family, sitting down,
Uh-huh.
you're not like grabbing it
Right.
piecemeal or
Right.
like
No
I'll just
phones.
get at a different time. Yeah, no phones, but like I don't have to be militant about it. But the point is we're all like sitting down together at the same time,
Uh-huh.
eating a meal that, is nourishing, hopefully, that someone
Uh-huh.
has
Right.
prepared. And I feel like that is just such a good way
Yeah.
to connect
It's like a place
and
to
even if
home
Yeah.
base to like every day I'm going to touch this place.
like a foundation.
Did you have
And I feel like
that?
Yeah.
I did too.
yeah, I
We
definitely had
had dinner
that, and
time
it made
too.
me I feel like it was game
I
changing.
totally
Like
agree.
Interesting.
when I was out late at night and, people were doing drugs, which is fine, right? Like you kids are gonna experiment with
Right.
things. But I just remember, I think I've told you guys this story, but I just remember this one night we were out late, like partying, and I was like, I'm gonna go home. Like my mom had baked something really delicious. And I was like, I want to go home and like eat her cookies.
That's amazing.
But
That's
like
what's
I
up.
just feel like
That's so real. That's
like
so real.
food and like that foundation of home, if you have
Right.
it, it's just like you're
Yeah.
always gonna like gravitate
You're
toward it.
literally
I feel like a lot of
saying
city cats like
yes.
don't have that.
I was gonna say like she's
Yeah,
like
well,
she's
yeah.
gonna go home and be like I'm gonna go home and like have some love. Like it's like that.
Yeah.
That's like that dinner time, the baking. Like there's so much love put into that. I actually love
yeah,
coming over to your house, Megan, because you always prepare such beautiful food and like there is so
Yeah, you
much
do.
that
love
quiche
into
last
it.
time was bad. That quiche was like runny last
It
time. I don't know what
it
happened.
tasted good
Yeah, but like
though.
everything else was so
It's
good.
but the flavors were there. Okay,
Your muffins were really good.
thank you.
No, but it's so true. Like you make it seem so effortless too.
But I totally
I
agree.
love
Wild.
I had the
for
same
people
thing,
like
Megan, growing up. We had dinner time every night. Like my grandmother prepared it and we all sat down and it was like, it really is like a grounding moment. I totally agree with you.
it is. It doesn't have to be perfect, like if you
Uh-huh.
don't cook, whatever. But I think the sitting down together is the thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Like you can get like a McDonald's
Totally.
or a KFC bucket
Totally.
for
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be an organic feast. Like just
Yeah, I feel like so
sit
many
together.
city kids like don't have parents that are like involved in their lives. If anything, they have like nannies that
Mm.
like do all of their, caring for them,
Right.
which is like
Yeah.
sad.
It's like a sad, like freakonomic thing about the city too, because it's so expensive to live there that you need like a double income situation. And a
Right.
lot of people aren't afforded the luxury of caring for their own children to kind of.
Yeah.
So, I do think
Well, now that's true like everywhere too, right?
yeah. So it is nice to have those grounding moments. And I think that do you think that separates you from like a lot of your contemporaries like growing up, that you had that versus like
Well, Yeah, I mean, a lot of people had that too, and are we're like I have most of my friends are from the city and have great relationships with their
That's
families.
awesome.
But there's definitely like people who I have come across who are troubled, and I can I link it directly to their home life?
No.
No, but I can see like how powerful it was for
Right.
me.
Totally.
Mhm.
Okay, so something else that I think happens a lot as a New Yorker is you fall in love with some like little hole in the wall or some random place and then it closes and then like part of you dies.
Ugh,
What are some of those
the worst.
places that are like living in the Hall of Fame of like, I wish this place still existed?
Telephone.
Well,
Telephone,
yeah, telephone for
Elena's
sure.
parents'
Elena's parents have an
restaurant.
amazing restaurant where we spent like what a good
Every
portion of
fucking
our
night.
drunken youths. Yeah,
They
like
hated us there.
whatever. It was so fun. The mozzarella stick, like it
Yeah,
was
they were,
perfect.
and the fries.
And the fries and the
Yeah.
cherry Ricky, whatever that was.
But yeah, we used to get like Stoli orange
Yeah, and like chug
Oh,
Evans there in
and
the
like
bathroom.
lime and like vodka gimlets.
Ugh, that was like an era. Yeah,
It was.
R.I.P. telephone for sure. That is
Yeah.
tragedy. There's also this
Patricia
place.
Fields. I'm like filling it. Sorry.
No, keep them coming. Patricia Field for sure. Oh
I
my
Yeah.
know,
god,
R.I.P.
You were like a mainstay at Patty Fields. Like that's like a vibe for you, isn't it?
that was the vibe. And remember once I got the last dress, and Paris Hilton was in the dressing room next to me, and
Yeah.
when she came out to look at herself in the mirror, my mom goes, "My daughter in there watches The Simple Life, even if she's seen it already." Like she's like, "Drop that to her." I was like, "You're so annoying."
What did Ferris say?
No, it's so embarrassing.
Was
Paris
she like,
like,
that's hot? Yeah,
yeah,
she
she's
loved it.
like, "Thanks, love." But yeah, no, but you guys, Pomodoro was the best pizza place. They had a vodka
Yes.
slice. Do you remember that on like
Yeah.
Mott Street or like
Yes.
Spring Mott or something? And
Spring.
like Spring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
Spring
it still there?
Like, no, it closed.
It did?
It closed, and now a new pizza place is there, which everyone says is amazing, actually called
I don't buy it.
Upside.
Okay.
I got it.
Webs.
I know, so that's
Do you,
disappointing.
is it like pizza all day for you? Like, do you still like Roberta's and shit?
Yeah, I love Roberta's. I mean, pizza's the best.
What's the best
Yeah.
Am I
pizza?
wrong?
What, like obviously Manhattan is known for pizza, bagels. Like what's the number ones? Like if you're like giving somebody like you have to taste these things from my homeland, what is it?
Okay, favorite slice F&F pizza.
Where's that?
In Carroll Gardens. Carroll Gardens.
Interesting.
Why
Favorite
why is
slice.
it so good? What's the situation?
Oh, it's like you hold up the slice, with like the little pointy tip, and it's like so like drenched in oil,
Mm.
Yeah.
but not in a gross way, like in a perfect way. Like it's kind of like limp with oil,
Mm.
and the
Yeah.
cheese is like molten, but also like sort of stretchy and delicious, and the crust is just like.
Mm.
Is it like a classic pizzeria?
Yeah, it's like classic New York slice, but I do feel
Yeah.
like their ingredients are like maybe better than most because they
Like
have
from
a
Italy?
restaurant. I don't know if it's from Italy.
Some old
but
lady's
like,
putting her arm in the pot back there and getting some good
Yeah.
seasoning in there.
yeah, it's someone knows how to cook in there in that kitchen.
Yeah.
Someone's
like
known it. Yeah.
it's friggin' delicious. Okay, and then favorite like margarita is Roberta's, I'd say.
Oh, interesting.
Roberta's is good. Roberta's has some good.
I think
How
it's
about
delicious.
artichoke? How are you feeling about artichoke these days?
Oh, I love the plain slice of artichoke. I don't mess with the artichoke slice because it's just like a gut
It
buster.
is
It
such
really is like
a
a
gut
buster.
buster. Elena and
But
I
you
have.
to try it.
Yeah.
You have to get it. You have to have your time.
Yeah.
With
I
it.
think you
No, it's
have to
fucking
go there
delicious.
at like 1 a.m. and get in line with the rest of the drunk people and get like this. It's basically like, for those who haven't had the artichoke pizza, it's like a thick ass, huge slice of pizza covered in spinach and artichoke dip, basically. And then
It's like
crazy.
10,000 calories.
Yeah.
And
You literally like have diarrhea while you're in line.
yeah.
Elena and I used to remember we used to go at like, right? Didn't we like fall asleep?
Yeah, we
eating
did.
it or
On the
garden or
stoop with like
something?
Ty.
Yeah. At like 4
They would
a.m.
give us the slices that they were like gonna throw away.
It was like pie.
Yeah, they would.
But yeah, so I can never eat the artichoke slice again. But the plain slice is delicious.
Yeah, it's banging.
At artichoke.
Yeah, and the crab one's pretty good too.
Yeah, but I can't be ordering a crab slice.
No.
Like
Yeah.
regular.
No, there's some
it's like-
things.
Yeah,
no,
no.
there is some food in the city, and this is just like maybe like a personal, like neurodivergent, fussy thing. But, like, there's some food that I can't be seen to eat in public. It's too hard.
Yeah.
Like, I need to be able to, like,
Mhm.
use, like, 1,000 napkins, wash my hands, like, take a shower. Like, I can't be eating
Uh-huh.
some of these things that are people like
Self-presentation,
right.
right?
So
Yeah.
Goes
right.
into
Yep,
that.
exactly.
Is pizza like that for
No,
you?
pizza is
Yeah.
good because you can
No.
fold it in
Pizza's
half.
perfect.
It's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
you can walk with a pizza, but
Wait. Do you guys fold it? Because I've been debating with my husband, Jesse, about this for years, that real New Yorkers don't fold.
here's my thoughts on it.
I don't fold
No.
it.
I do not
You
fold
don't
either.
wanna fold it
It's
because
less
it's
bites.
less bites. Um, there
Exactly.
has been situations, though, if
Exactly.
the pizza is not if it doesn't have the structural integrity to hold itself, sometimes you have to kind of
Fair
do a
enough.
taco kinda fold a little bit just to, like, get it down, but if it's worth its weight, it'll have, like, a nice solid
Yeah,
flat.
Yeah,
I
the
agree.
crust should hold it. That's a
Walking through
bad
it.
pizza then.
Yeah.
I just I can't fold. It feels like it's like defacing like a new book, like bending the
Totally
pages.
Ooh,
agree. I
yeah.
agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I think that that's
And I
fair.
don't lend my books to people.
No, you don't.
I want to ask you too, Megan. How do you feel like the city has changed and evolved since like the 80s and 90s and the 2000s? Like on a macro level, like looking at like the 3 decades that I guess 4 that
Yeah.
we've like lived through. How do you see it changing?
I mean, maybe this is obvious, but like when I was a kid, I'm born in 84. Like I remember we had to cross the street walking by Bryant Park because there'd be like drug lords and
Right.
unsavory people, and like
Yeah.
literally Bryant Park was this like thicket of vines. Like you couldn't even go in. Like if you
That's
went in
so
there, you
crazy.
were like
Yeah.
up to no good.
Right.
Right.
And like the subway was like people would snatch jewelry off your neck. I know that still happens, but I just feel like I don't really feel unsafe in the city. I know crime is up even, but I rarely do I feel unsafe because they're just like people everywhere, you
Yeah.
know?
As a kid too.
No, as a kid it did feel different, I think. I think as a kid it was easier to sort of stumble upon something bad,
Was
you
it
know?
scary as a kid, would you say? Like were there things about it that made you like
Yeah, like
your guts tingle?
yeah, yeah, exactly. There were things you'd walk by and you knew to like walk fast or
Yeah.
like cross the street. And like those things are still there, but they're just like I find that they're sort of like less and less. Like
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, like when we went back to Slovakia, when I was a kid, like I thought it was like so scary because it was like right after communism and like it just felt really scary there. And going back as an adult, like seeing it as like a grown person, it felt like so much smaller. Do you know what I mean? Like it
but it
felt
probably
like
did
nothing. It felt
change,
like
It did
nothing.
right?
change a lot,
It did.
right?
It did change, but like a lot of it, like the aspects of it that didn't change that they like kept, like the old communist buildings and shit, or like lack of street lighting and that kind of stuff. Like that, I was just like, oh, we're just like wherever. It doesn't matter. Like it felt like nothing. But like when I was a kid,
Yeah,
I was so scared.
Yeah.
I know. You get the perspective you get,
Elena,
huh?
were you
Yeah,
scared in the
exactly.
city too when you were really little? Because you are a New Yorker as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like scared of Chinatown.
Were you?
Really?
It scared me.
Not Miss Chinatown
Although
herself.
because it was
Well,
busier?
at nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah, your mom's like the queen of Chinatown.
I know, but like it was at nighttime, it scared me with like everyone like cleaning out, like like if you're leaving someplace at like 9 or 10, and all the restaurants are like emptying shit
Yeah.
out or like pouring water on the street, like
Yes.
that kind of shit
Yeah.
scared me. I
Did
don't
it
know
scare you
why.
because it
Pouring
stunk?
water on the street.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, it smelled so bad too.
There is truly nothing like a hot summer day getting stuck on Mott Street between like Bayard and whatever. like you just when they're like
Getting
when
off
they're
it,
emptying
yeah.
out all like the melted ice and
The fish
stuff,
skins
and
and
you're just
stuff.
like, don't
Yeah.
get stuck
Oh,
on Mott Street on a hot summer day. Like you're gonna learn. You're gonna find.
right.
No, I love that too,
Yeah, me too.
even
It's kind of funny.
serious streets. Yeah, it's all kind of
Right?
funny.
Something that's so funny about the city is like you can literally be walking around like and you're in Chinatown and then a block later you're in Italy. Like it is so like that. Like it's literally from like Chinatown and it's so much Chinese culture and then you get to Little Italy and it's like
Uh-huh.
everyone's speaking Italian. Like it's just like
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
it's
line.
kind of incredible how that is like backs up
Uh-huh.
onto it. And it does
But the cool thing is that there's every type of person in
every
those
type
like
of
pockets.
person. Yes.
Right.
It's good. I think people from, New York, like original New Yorkers are so much more tolerant and, like, they have this, like empathy that you can't even explain. Like people think that like New Yorkers are rude, but they're literally not. They actually are like
Right.
really caring, but they have to like harden themselves because they have to turn into like a car as they're walking down the street. Like,
I think so. No, I think that's so
right?
true. And I also think it really is the best, like education you don't even know you're getting, just to like be on a subway and
100%.
see every kind of person. Because you're
Right.
just
100%.
like you're all there, you're all people. And imagine if you just saw people who looked like
Oh
you
yeah,
growing up. You
absolutely.
would
Right.
think stereotypes are all there
Right,
is.
100%. I think
Right.
that the education that I got just living in New York, I moved to the city at age 18. That's the best education that I could have ever gotten. Like truly, like it teaches you
Yeah.
about life and people and empathy and all of the things.
Yeah, we're all just
And we
people.
just love New York. I do. I do. I love it.
Yeah.
I just want to bring it back to Carrie really quickly because I wanted
Okay.
we brought up Carrie in the last episode and I kind of went on this diatribe where I was talking about how everybody else seems to like learn a little bit. Like they'll go through something and they'll learn and they'll get better. Like Charlotte will be faced with something like, okay, oh, my child is called Rock now and they're not using she her pronouns anymore, and like she's like, oh, okay, but then she like becomes like now like super mom of trans kids. Like she like always is like, growing and evolving. It's same for the other characters. But Carrie doesn't. She doesn't. And that's what's so funny about
Yeah.
her.
She stays idle.
And like I get it.
Wait, yeah, that's
I
not.
yeah, watch and
Like
just like that.
Miranda's a
Yeah,
lesbian.
Miranda's always like, "Oh, maybe I'm looking at this from the wrong perspective." Like they're always kind of learning and da 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 da. Da. But Carrie just kind of like makes the same mistakes and she's really stuck in her own way. And I wonder
Mhm.
why that character is written like that. And like I do, maybe it grounds it. Maybe it's like we see her here and she's sort of stuck and everyone else is just like whirling around her. I don't know what it
Yeah,
is about her. And I watch it. I love it. I want to see everything she's wearing. I want to see everything she's
yeah,
saying, what stupid shit she's going to say. Like but
yeah,
there really
Uh-huh.
is. Yeah, Carrie's not like a real person. Carrie's an enigma. She's
No.
like not like she's the only one that's not like a really she's a character. She's like an idea.
She's very self-absorbed.
Well,
yeah,
She
she
is the
is.
main character. She's like big time main character.
yeah.
Like
Maybe,
she
but
only yeah.
maybe it's realistic, right? Because maybe it's they're just like trying to like present like an array of people. Like some people don't change and are self-absorbed, and some people do become trans mom of the year if that's who
Right.
their kid is.
Right.
You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
and not to say Carrie wouldn't change if she had to, but I don't know. Maybe it's just different. They're just like showing different like prototypes of
Yeah.
people or
It's
something.
interesting to see
Yeah.
with the new franchise that's coming out with like and just like that because we really get to kind of see like okay now like they're in their 50s, like what are these women like what's
Yeah,
and Carrie's still pretty stuck there, so I'm excited to see her
Yeah.
story arc. And I do love like it's so funny because when we first got on the podcast, you were going to do your info dump about Sex in the City. And we were like, oh my God, we literally just did that. Like, because we had sent out at the same time. And I was like, but you know
I
what?
gotta look.
Talking about Manhattan in
Yeah.
relation to
I just had a thought.
it goes together. Like it
Yeah,
is so
no, it
part
It
of the
does.
does.
culture of the 90s, especially in New York. What were you going to say, Elena?
I had a thought about Carrie. Like can she ever really grow if she never reconciles how she was actually abused severely by Big? Like like has to take a moment with the death of Big. Like maybe they're getting to this
Maybe.
cuz like they need
Yeah,
to,
because it feels like
where
she's so
she like
stuck.
after yeah, she's like mourned him, she's been mourning him, and it's like is there going to be a moment where she looks back and she's like wow, that actually like was a shitty
Right.
situation. He treated me like shit.
Yes.
But didn't she not have a reckoning with that before they got married? Now I can't
Yeah,
remember.
but like
But
I
did
don't
she?
really
Yeah,
think
so
it was
for a
satisfying. It was she didn't. Like why? Cuz she like made him wait at the altar. Is that what happened? I forget what happened.
Yeah.
I just like
I forget what
the
happened
the
to
the
me.
fact that she even married him to me is like you
Uh,
haven't learned
after he
anything.
left her at the library, wasn't it the
I mean,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I couldn't get
And
over
then do you
that.
remember like how Charlotte like what a fierce friend she was? I don't know, she just has a lot of
They were
integrity.
all fierce friends.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were fierce friends for her. I can't wait to see what they
Yeah,
do.
Big is not so
I
nice.
know.
Big wasn't so nice. I want to see what happens for
Me
Carrie.
too.
But also, you know what I love, you guys, a little bit of a tangent, but in the opening first episode of And Just Like That this season, it's like
Mhm.
all of the different women in their 50s, like being in a sexual
Oh
situation
yeah.
their spouse. And I
Right.
Me
love
too.
that they're in their 50s and they're being shown as sexual.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like that.
They do be fucking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love
Actually, I think people in their 50s fuck more.
Oh my! But like also like women are still beautiful and sexy at 50.
Women
And
fuck more than
Miranda
ever
with
in
the
their
strap
50s.
on. Miranda's
I
wearing a
loved it.
strap on. That's awesome.
I
for her.
loved it.
Yeah.
The strap on
Good for her.
scene,
Good for
I
them
loved
showing
it. I love when Cynthia Nixon is a hero. Getting out of that zero gravity
her.
tub, puss first for all of
Yeah, her bush.
iconic. I love her. Oh,
Yeah, no, I love her too. And I do think as like dumb as the show is, like I do think it actually really is important
I
culturally.
completely
Like
agree.
I
Yeah.
think showing a
Yeah.
50-year-old woman in a strap on is more powerful than a politician talking about gay rights.
Amen.
You know?
Yeah.
Amen to that. An almost
Hey, put that on a
politician.
shirt.
Cynthia almost was a politician.
Right?
Yeah, she's really holding it down
Yes,
for
I know.
us.
She got my vote.
You guys convinced, or Alaina, you convinced me to vote for her.
I know, well, that didn't go anywhere, did it?
No, but I think it showed how many votes she got. Maybe it helped influence, whoever
Yeah,
won.
I think it helped to
Yeah,
progress.
right.
I mean, that was like the thought process behind it. But you live and you learn.
Will New York City ever have a good mayor is the question.
I don't
How
know.
can you
Not in your
mayor
lifetime.
I
it?
mean,
Yeah.
you won.
It's hard to be
You
the
guys won.
mayor of a place. Not that I'm giving anybody any leeway, but like Manhattan is its like own living, breathing entity. Like I feel like Manhattan itself has like its own sun, moon, and rising. Like it.
The mayor should be a woman that is born and raised in New York City.
Okay.
Megan, you should run for mayor.
No, it's too much paperwork for
It's
me.
so much work.
It's so much
Just
work. But I think Susan. I think she should run for mayor.
Okay. Sick.
Great.
She's a lawyer, legal aid.
Wasn't she like a defense attorney or something?
Yeah, she's still doing that.
She was, yeah.
She's fighting the good
She
fight.
is.
I think
She's like okay. I just think it should be a woman.
I mean,
we
should
a lot of
I
things.
think women should be in charge
1,000%
of everything.
Megan, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with all of this. Like this is like,
oh my god, what a whirlwind!
What a whirlwind of fun. We touched on so many fun topics. Where can everybody find you online?
I'm Mega Girl on Instagram.
Okay, perfect. And then we can read you in Goop.
Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah.
I work at Goop, and I'm around.
And do you still have a podcast?
Everyone needs to catch
or
Megan.
Is that there's a podcast where they can kind of catch?
It's on hold.
What's it called?
We have a clean beauty. It's called the Goop. What is it called? The Beauty Closet.
Yeah, there's some really good episodes on there if you guys are looking for something to kind of catch up on the Beauty Closet.
Also, Megan is also on the Goop show on Netflix.
Yes.
So
the first
season,
season 1 of the Goop show.
Everyone watch the Wim Hof episode.
Yes.
And Megan.
I'm so honored to be on your podcast.
Oh,
I have to listen to. I see little blurbs here and there, but like I'm bad at podcasting. I gotta. What's the highlight reel? Which is one I should listen to? What's like a best of?
The Bring It On one that we just did, people liked it a lot.
Is it just you guys?
It's just us in costume.
So when do you guest? You only have guests sometimes.
Only sometimes.
We've had like 2 guests so far.
Are you trying to do more guests?
Yeah.
If
let us know, Candle Coven, if you like us having guests on. We know what it is. We're just trying to keep it interesting. We're trying to like examine pop culture from so many different angles, like from an angle of where we look at movies from the past and kind of pull those apart and see what it says about the culture at large, meeting with people that we know or interesting people like you, Megan, like where we can kind of talk about your perspective on culture, or just when Alaina and I kind of talk about like current events and shoot the shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, thank you, Candle Coven, for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another episode. Please email us podcast@bijoutcandles.com if you have anything you want us to talk about, any campfire suggestions, and please like and subscribe and give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening.
Thanks,
bye, guys.
Coven.
Love you.
Bye.